Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a full face of nothing new and just create a look using some of my go-to staple products. I've been doing a lot of videos on new makeup releases and I have some coming up because there are a lot of fun products out there, but sometimes it's fun to just use your staple products. And I wanted to use products that I talk about all the time on my channel and just create an easy look that I would wear on an everyday basis. I do want to say thank you to e.l.f. Cosmetics for sponsoring today's video. I am so excited to work with them. I have loved e.l.f. Cosmetics for over 10 years. They make some of my favorite products and I talk about them all the time on my YouTube channel because I just genuinely get excited to see what the brand is going to release. I think they do such a great job at releasing trendy, fun products for affordable prices. The quality is amazing. They know beauty. They do such a good job with their makeup, skincare, and brushes. So you can feel good, look good, but you don't have to spend a ton of money. The products are cruelty-free, they're 100% vegan. So I'm going to link everything that I use in the description box below. You can find all of these e.l.f. Cosmetics products on their website, but you can also find them and shop them through the links that I put in the description box below. So let's jump into it and I'll show you guys how I got this look. So to kick things off, I'm going to be starting with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Today I'm just using the original one. I also really like the matte version. They have a new one, the Acne Fighting Putty Primer, which I am really curious to try. It has color correcting properties to it, and it's also supposed to fight acne, and I do have acne prone skin. So I am planning on trying that one out soon, but in the meantime, I do love the original and also the matte version. But I just really focus this on the center of my face, anywhere where I deal with really large pores or I'm dealing with texture. My skin is actually pretty clear right now, which I am loving, but I do kind of have a little bit of scarring and some texture on my chin. So I'm just going to apply this in that area as well. I'm also just going to take a little bit on my forehead. This just creates a really smooth, even base. So if you don't wear makeup, your skin just looks very smooth overall, but if you put makeup on top, it's just going to allow the foundation or the tinted moisturizer or CC cream or whatever you're using to glide on really evenly. So for the base, I'll be using the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I do have two shades that I'll be mixing together, Fair 140W and then also Light 210N. I've been loving this product for everyday wear. It's just such a beautifully smooth, even product. It gives your skin a nice glow, and I do end up setting mine with a mattifying primer because I do have oily skin, but I find that it just looks very skin-like throughout the day. So what I'll do is I'll just typically take it with my finger and kind of spread it on my face, and then I'll either go in with a brush or a sponge just to blend it out and make sure everything is really smooth and even. So I'll start with this side of my face. I am using the e.l.f. Angled Buffing Brush. I'll put a list of all of the brushes that I'm using in the description box below, but I've really been loving this product. I wore it yesterday for, I think, over 12 hours, and I like this because it just wears really well throughout the day. It's very lightweight, but as it wears off, it looks really skin-like, and I find that sometimes when I go in with something that has really intense coverage that's super mattifying, as my skin gets oily throughout the day, it almost wears off unevenly and it will look heavy and cakey around my nose or it will look patchy, but I like the way that this makes my skin look throughout the day. It just looks very smooth, very even. You can see my freckles through, but I like that it does cover redness. In general, my skin does tend to be a little bit more red toned, so I'm always looking for something just to correct that redness, but sometimes I do want to embrace my natural skin, allow my freckles to show through, so I feel like this product is just the perfect balance. But I would say I typically go in with about half a pump of each one and use that for my face, and that usually gives me the coverage that I'm looking for. I'm just going to go over my eyelids. I'm dealing with some allergies, so my eyes are very red lately. So that's one layer. I'm just going to take whatever I have left and kind of build it up on my cheeks just a little bit, and then maybe around my chin a little bit as well. Oh, and then I'm going to blend it down on my neck too. So next I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Cosmetics 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I have the shade Light Sand, and I'm going to use this under my eyes, and I don't think I need to spot conceal too much today, so I'm just going to really focus this around my eyes because, like I said, I've been dealing with a little bit of redness and then just between my brows so that everything looks really smooth and even right here and then around my nose. And then a little bit right here as well. So I guess I did spot conceal a little bit just to make sure everything looks really even as I apply it. And then I'm just going to blend it out with a small brush, really focusing around the center of my face where I feel like I need the most coverage. I love this concealer because it really does stay in place all day long. They do have a hydrating version as well. Sometimes I'll mix them together, but because I am using a little bit more of a hydrating base, I feel like a matte concealer will work well just to balance everything out. And then I'm just going to blend in the rest of it and make sure that everything looks really even. I just set my under eye concealer into place with a little bit of powder, and now I'm just going to be using the Too Faced Peach Powder to set the rest of my face. I'm using the e.l.f. Cosmetics Total Face Sponge to press this powder into the skin, and I find that when I use a little bit of a damp sponge, it honestly just locks the powder in, but it gives it a really smooth, even effect as well. Now, if you don't like more of a matte finish, you could just leave the e.l.f. Cosmetics Camo CC Cream on its own because the finish is amazing. But because I do have oily skin, I have to lock everything into place with powder if I just want it to last throughout the day. But the nice part about the Camo CC Cream is because it is such a glowy, just natural looking product, I feel like that starts to come through after an hour or two. So even though I do kick things off with a pretty matte base, it doesn't stay this matte for too long. Before I do my eyes, I am just going to go in with a little bit of the e.l.f. Cosmetics Wow Brow Gel. This has been a favorite of mine for such a long time. It makes such a difference if you have really sparse brows like I do. What I do is I'll just run this through my brows and I'll just give it a few minutes to dry. Typically, I'll just do this before I start on my eyes and then allow it to dry down fully and then just kind of fill in, sorry, I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time, and then I'll just fill in any sparse areas. But it makes such a difference because this has fibers in it. I mean, just look at the difference between the two brows. If you have really sparse brows, this is just going to make them look really full and voluminous. I did kind of apply it a little bit outside of my natural brow on accident, but that's perfect because I am going for more of a thick, voluminous look. While I was waiting for the brow gel to dry, I just applied a little bit of eyeshadow primer and used the lightest shade in the e.l.f. Bite-Sized Eyeshadow Palette. This one is Cream and Sugar, which is one of my favorites. I might use another shadow from here, but for now I just used the light matte shadow to set my primer into place. And I'm actually just going to fill in my brows before I do the rest of the eye look. So I'm just going to be using the Urban Decay Brow Blade. I have the shade Dark Drapes. This has been one of my favorites for years and years. So I'm going to start with the pencil side. I always just take the pencil side and run it along the bottom of my brow just to lightly shape the brow and maybe extend it just a little bit. And then I just kind of go through the brow to darken it up a little bit. So I did the same thing on the other brow. Now I'm just going to flip it over and use the ink stain side to lightly fill in the front of my brow and just create some more natural hair-like strokes throughout the rest of it as well. I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer and just lightly clean up that brow because I did kind of make them just slightly too thick. So I'm just going to run it along the bottom of the brow just to thin it out a little bit. So moving on to the eyes, I think I'm mainly going to be using the e.l.f. Cosmetics Bite-Sized Eyeshadow Palette in Pumpkin Pie. This is one of my go-to everyday palettes. I also think it is perfect for just like a quick and easy summer look. So I'm going to start with the lightest shade and just blend that into the crease and then also up as a transition color. I'm just going to go in with a light layer because I might go in and build it up directly in the crease in just a second. But for now, I just want like a sheer wash of color all over the eyes. If you guys haven't tried the Bite-Sized Eyeshadow Palettes yet, they are so good. They are some of my absolute favorite palettes. I've been raving about them since they released them. I think they released them last January or last February. I reach for them all the time. I mean, this one definitely looks used because I have used it so much. I'm just going to go in with a little bit more and just build that up in the crease just to warm things up even more. I've just been enjoying doing my makeup again lately, which makes me so happy. I think for the past year, or maybe like more so in 2020, sometimes I would take the time to do it, but I always felt like I was just kind of like going through the motions, throwing it on, getting it done. And now that life is returning to normal a little bit more, I feel like I just get excited to do it and it just makes me happy. And that is the best feeling because for me, makeup has always been just so relaxing. It's been my way just to kind of take some time in the morning and apply it, have some me time, and I feel like I'm kind of getting back to that place. So I just thought it would be fun to do a video like using a bunch of my favorite products, and I just love these eyeshadow palettes. So let me do the other eye and then I'll be right back. Then I'm just going to take the darkest shade in the palette and just blend that in the outer corner and then up into the crease just to intensify things a little bit. I don't think I'm going to go too dramatic or smoky today. I just want something a little bit softer. I feel like in the summertime, I don't always take the time to do really intense eyeshadow. I typically go for like a warm toned, bronzy, smoky look, but maybe something a little bit more subtle. And then, like I said, up into the crease as well. I'm not being super precise because I am going to go in with one of the metallic shadows, or maybe both of them actually, all over the lid. Next, I'm going to start with the darker shimmer in the palette, and I'm just going to press that onto the eye. Probably, yeah, from the inner corner almost to the outer corner, just to add a pop of shimmer. But one of the reasons why I love this palette in particular is because the four shadows just go so well together. So you can do something really simple with two of the shadows. You can use all four for a little bit more of an intense look. You can even do something more smoky if you really build up that dark brown. But I just think it's such an easy palette for everyday wear. Next, I'm going to take the brighter metallic in the palette and really focus that on the inner part of the eye and right over the center. The metallics in this palette are just so beautiful. They're very soft, really smooth. You can go in with a brush, but I just think they apply so beautifully with your finger. And I'm all about easy application these days. So I love these because they just glide on so perfectly. I'm just going to go back in and blend everything together and make sure there are no harsh lines. And then I think I am going to go back in with the original palette I used to set my eye and just pop a little bit of gold right in the center. This is one of my most used palettes. This is the Bite Size palette in Cream and Sugar. I'm just going to take the gold. It's kind of like a bronzy gold, so it goes really well with the other palette that I used. And I'm just going to place that right in the very center, just to add a little bit more shine to the eyes. Next, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Cosmetics eyeliner pen and just use this to align my eyes and create a wing. This is one of my favorite products. I just love winged liners so much. There are days where I'll just skip eyeliner altogether and just go in with mascara, but when I am taking the time to do my eyeshadow, I typically like to create a wing and just apply liner. It is one of my favorite products. Now, before I go in with mascara, I am just going to take both of the matte shadows in the same order, the lightest one and then the deepest one, and just run them on the lower lash line just to tie things together. Forgot to grab an eyeliner for my waterline. Maybe I'll just leave it blank. I changed my mind. I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Smog. And I'm just going to apply this to my waterline just to tie things together. I'm actually just going to take a little bit of the lighter metallic shade and I'm just going to press that on the lower lash line too, just because I think I want a little bit more of a shimmery effect there. For mascara, I'm just going to be using the Bite Beauty Changemaker mascara. This one has a very large wand, so sometimes I feel like my mascara can look a little bit messy when I use this one. This mascara gives me a lot of volume. It also gives me a lot of length. The wand is just a little bit too big. I feel like inevitably I end up getting it on my eyelid and then I have to go in and clean it up. But I do like the way that it makes my lashes look. So this is how one coat looks with the mascara. It looks pretty good, but I'm going to build it up and add a second coat. Okay, and then here is what 2 coats of the mascara looks like. It does build really well. It gives you super dramatic lashes. Okay, so let's move on to cheek products. I think I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Bronzer. It's been just a little bit too dark for me lately, but I think if I use a light hand, it should be okay. This is actually in my project pan for 2021 because I am making an effort to actually use it up completely, but I haven't used it a whole lot during the first half of the year because, like I said, it's been a little bit too dark for me. But I just miss the actual formula because it is so smooth and blendable. It just looks really good on the skin because it has a little bit of shimmer in it. So I feel like it just gives your skin a naturally glowy look. And then I'm just going to apply it to my forehead as well, and then just kind of pull it down on my neck a little bit. I feel like that's good because I did go in with a light hand. It's not too intense or too warm toned. I'm just going to apply it to this cheek as well. I just love this formula because it has a little bit of a glow to it. So I really think it is such a perfect product for summer. For blush, I'm going to be using the Buxom Wanderlust blush, and I have the shade Seychelles. Again, this just kind of gives your skin, I applied a lot to the brush. Let me just tap some off. This just gives your skin like a very naturally glowy look. I'm just using a very small amount, and I can build it up a little bit. I just had too much on the brush. But for me, this is kind of like my perfect everyday neutral color. So I'm just going to apply this to the cheeks and just kind of lightly blend it in And I like this formula because it just wears well throughout the day too. I'm just going to take a little bit of concealer and cover that freckle on my nose. I just went over that with a little bit of pressed powder. Now I'm going to be using the Becca highlighter in the shade Champagne Pop, which is a tried and true favorite. Oh my gosh, a tried and true favorite of mine. I'm also going to be bringing it on the front of my cheek as well. This is just one of my go-to highlighters. I'm going to put it on my nose, my chin. Just going to use this to highlight the inner corner of my eyes. I feel like that is an old school trend that I have not let go of. I don't really highlight my brow bone, but I still love a good pop of shimmer on the inner corner. Actually, before I go in with a lip product, I'm just going to take a little bit of the e.l.f. Cosmetics Halo Glow Setting Powder. I have the shade Light. Typically I do this before highlighter. I just completely forgot today, but I like to use it just to kind of diffuse all of my cheek products. It's sometimes nice after highlighter if you feel like you apply a little bit too much highlighter too. Like in the monitor, it looks like this part of my cheek is maybe just a little bit too highlighted. So I always take this powder just to kind of diffuse any of my cheek products. And I feel like it erases harsh lines in a very subtle way. For lips, I typically just do any sort of nude combination. I'm just using two of my favorite lip products from e.l.f. Cosmetics. So I have this nude lip liner from the Retro Paradise Lip Kit. It came with 4 lip liners and a clear gloss, which I do love that clear gloss, but today I'm going to be going in with the Mint Melt Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Mint Chocolate. So I'm just going to use this liner to line my lips. This pencil liner stays in place really, really well. I like this shade in particular because it is a little bit of a warmer brown toned nude on me. So I can go in with a light layer, or I can kind of layer it up and fill in the lips for more of a deep appearance. Then I'm just going to take this gloss. This is just one of my favorite lip gloss formulas of all time. It's just so smooth and glossy. It gives your lips like a very shiny finish, and it does have a little bit of a plumping quality to it. So this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really just wanted to sit down and use some of my staple go-to products and create just a look that I would wear on an everyday basis. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can find all of the e.l.f. Cosmetics products and shop through the links in the description box below. I'll list everything that I used in today's video, but I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.